Well, thank you so much for staying with us. We've been talking about the issue of some of the appointment made by President Muhammadu Buhari, which of course some of you have been talking about. 75% of those appointments analyzed and said to have gone to the northern region of the country and about 25% to the southern region of the country. Precisely, most talked about is the fact that the southeastern region of the country has no appointments whatsoever. Well, to discuss the issue with me, I have in the studio an elder statesman, one of Nigeria's senior legal practitioners and a former presidential candidate, Dr. Tunji Braithwaite, joins us on the program. Thank you so much for the honor of coming on the program tonight.
My pleasure.
What do you make of these appointments? If we talk about 30 of those appointments and none of it has gone to the southeast, for example, and we've seen 75% from the northern region where the president has come from. What do you make of that distribution?
Well, I can understand if Nigerians are a little bit concerned and perhaps disturbed by the imbalance of the latest appointments. But you know, Shehu, the thing is this: I just would like us to leave aside for the moment the shape and the character of this announcement and ponder some nuances. For instance, this critical, pivotal appointments, Chief of Staff, SGF, Secretary to the Federal Government, and Controller of Customs, and one other. Why did he make that appointment on the eve of the coup that toppled Buhari about 30 years ago? This is what I would like Nigerians to ponder on. Why that day, which was exactly 30 years to the day he was betrayed by his comrade in arms. I contested democratic presidential election in 1982.
82?
Yes, 1983. Yes. And the military struck exactly on the last day of that year. And don't let us go into the merits or demerits of that particular coup. But less than 2 years into his government, his comrade in arms toppled him. It was a coup against the military government. It wasn't a coup against civilian government. Now, he made this pivotal appointment on the anniversary of that coup. Obviously, the guy is sending message to some people, and in that respect, I certainly support him. If he's going to address corruption seriously, as he has held himself out to do, then he needs to clear his rear. He needs to start in the right place, because don't let us deceive ourselves. The military input is still, or military content, is still very much in the so-called democratic dispensation of Nigeria. The military fellows still call the shots. And most of the coups that are taking place in this country were not altruistic. They were self-serving. And it is from the military regime that corruption really, started to hit the roof. So to me, I think what Buhari is doing is this, that he's going to start dealing with this corruption with everybody, but in his, in his own backyard.
All right. One will wonder that, fine, he has the prerogative to make the decision of whom to appoint in their pedigree or in their the profile, wherever they come from and all of that. But some people will say that some of these may be against the constitution of the country, because you are a lawyer, very much experienced in that regard. And I look at Section 169 of the Nigerian Constitution, the subsection 5, which says that any appointment made under this section, the president shall have regard to the federal character of Nigeria and the need to promote national unity. Does it mean that there are no other people who can make him achieve his goals to clear his rear, like you just mentioned, within all, the other parts of the country?
As I said, Buhari is determined to deal with corruption. I know that for a fact. Insurgency, economy, corruption, these are the three major things. But in order of execution, he must have believed that in order to succeed in the other areas, he needs to prioritize his plan, and he must, in his own wisdom, must have felt that corruption is number one. In that respect, people like me, I support him, because you see, like he said in his campaign, if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill Nigeria. In 2007, when he contested elections, and that 2007,
2003, 2007, 2011.
Yeah, right. Now, 2007 election was one of the worst elections ever held in this country. And the judiciary made a mess of itself, because it was so glaring. That was the election that the international community had judged as the worst ever that they had ever witnessed. Now, you can't joke. You cannot take issue of corruption in this country if you want to go anywhere. You cannot take it lightly. Look, most of the national assets are in private pockets. Most of the national assets were distributed during the military regime. This guy is a military man. He knows what is going on in this country. So if he arranges himself that way, you are talking about constitution. The Nigerian constitution is, as it is one of the worst constitutions that can usher in peaceful development and justice for the masses. A constitution that clothes criminals in office, governance, with immunity. They could get away, and I'm not just saying they could get away with murder. They could kill, and you cannot touch them. A constitution that doesn't provide for the masses. And let me tell you something again. The Nigerian elite class are one of the most irresponsible, selfish, and this guy is coming to do whatever the Lord asked him to do to ameliorate the suffering of the voiceless people. You find a man with questionable means gets into government either through his military friends or something, and then overnight he becomes not millionaire, billionaire, controlling the national asset. It's only in this country that sort of thing can happen. So if Buhari decides to take draconian steps to attack corruption, I think Nigerians should support him. Now, I understand what you are talking about, federal character. Sometimes, these systems, they're just there, and people pay lip service to them. What an average Nigerian wants is good governance, food on his table, peace, justice. But what you have in Nigeria, sure, you probably don't know. Well, you should know. The situation in our country is terrible. The average Nigerian is a very resourceful person. The young man, the young generation, he goes about the whole world. You know, he endows other places with his God-given resources. But come back home, nothing works. The wealth of the people are in few pockets. And in order for him to get on this priority, he has to make sure that he secures his rear. Take the position of SGF, for instance. I happen to know Ogbonaya Onu.
Yeah.
Yes, I happen to know him. Ogbonaya Onu came to me. Oh, he must have approached me no fewer than 20 times. Was coming to my house, inviting me, and saying that our people, they should join the APC. I'm saying this in public domain. He worked so hard for the APC that I myself would have been would be disappointed not to see Ogbonaya Onu. I don't know about any other person from the southeast, you know, but Ogbonaya Onu, I believe that if
it deserves that SDF position.
Yes, if that post is whether it is zoned in their party or whether it's to compensate somebody, no other person qualifies for that post except Onu. Well, maybe if I have an opportunity to ask President Buhari, I might ask him, because as I said, in 2007, when Buhari declared for his election for the presidential bid, I was chairman of that occasion at the Congress Hall of Transcorp Hilton. And we told Buhari, we backed him, we said, look, we will back you to the hilt on the condition that you are coming to be ruthless with corruption. So from what I know, his priority is corruption. So let's back him